Welcome back, Mavericks. Tonight I'm going to talk about 3 potential pitfalls and how to avoid them to keep you rolling trouble-free. Recently I ran into some things on the road that I want to talk to you about tonight to make sure you stay trouble-free. While you're here, please hit like and subscribe. You really help out our channel when you do, and consider becoming a Patreon so you get all kinds of access to extra content. First, let's talk about light choice. Now, we all know we should have our lights charged fully before we get on the bike, but even if you do, sometimes you're out on a super long ride. Like I was out over 8 hours the other day. Sometimes you just get busy because you're commuting, you got kids, you got meals to prep in the evening, all that stuff. You forget, and your light isn't fully charged and it goes out on you, maybe on a commute home in the sunset or dark when you need it most. And that's okay if you make the right light choice, like one of these. This is a Giant branded one. And the reason it's a good light is for a number of reasons. First, it lasts a long time. Secondly, it stays on the bike. But most importantly, with the spare battery, the port is in the side. See? So while it stays mounted on the bike, you can actually plug it in and charge it. And it'll work while it's charging. Can your light run while being charged? The answer may surprise you. Something you might want to check. For example, the light on my girlfriend's bike, this Magic Shine, the actual plug is where it mounts. So you cannot charge it while it's on the bike, working to keep you alive, safe, and visible. Now, because I was able to continue charging these lights from the side, I was able to continue riding and seeing in the dark with a nice bright light that kept us alive on the ride home. Next, number 2, I want to talk about having spares. Now, we bought this while at a seaside gift shop while we were riding around in Florida. This is supposed to be there to be able to charge our phones to keep the map going and stuff like that. Problem was, this cord sucked the battery life out of the devices, never actually charged. So we plug it into the battery and plug it into the phone, and the phone would actually lose power. Sometimes you're going to buy a crap cable. So the suggestion is, of course, you keep a couple of spares, which you know work and have tested, in your bag. Now, we've all heard about having spare tube, tire levers, etc. Can't reiterate that enough, just in case you get a flat. You also need to consider the spares for batteries, having 1 or 2 of these in your bag, extra cables, maybe even an extra pair of lights that are charged, so you don't necessarily have to worry about this. It's all stuff to consider. It doesn't add a ton of weight, but when you're putting in a 6 or 8 mile ride, or you're going on a destination ride where you're out, you might be having a nice long lunch like we did, and then coming back, and you end up coming back and it gets dark, windy, and rainy, you want to be able to see, stay safe, not be killed. When this cable failed us and we couldn't charge either phone, mine was completely dead, hers was down to about 15%. We were still 20 miles from home. It had gotten dark and had begun to rain. So making sure you have spares, essential. Number 3, if you find yourself in a tough spot, you got to be like the Marine Corps. You got to adapt, improvise, and overcome. We had the issue of not being able to charge her lights. So what we did was, while I led, she took this one, stuck it in her pocket, charged it up, let it go like 20 minutes, not very long, because we wanted both of us to have as much light as possible. Because she only had the one light, the advantage of this light is just that it happens to have a red in the back. So we turned it on, she tucked it into her shell, and voila! She's got visibility from behind while she's in the back. We were able to be seen, got safer. Is it ideal? No. Did it work? Hell yes. So that's it, Mavericks. If you're new to commuting, or commuting longer distances, or going at sunrise or sundown, or riding long distances, you're going to have to think about spares, having backups, etc., to keep yourself safe, be able to be seen, be able to navigate. So buy spares, keep them in your bag, and when you need to, adapt, improvise, and overcome. And then come on, let's ride. And don't forget to pick up your SCHWAG from this episode or any of our episodes at the Maverick Store.